All right, let's dive into one of the most elegant concepts in all of design. We're talking about creating layouts that just feel perfectly balanced, like they were literally coded by nature itself. You've had this feeling, right? You're scrolling a website or maybe looking at a poster, and you can't exactly pinpoint why, but everything, the balance, the spacing, it just feels perfect, effortless, harmonious. It just feels right. Well, guess what? That feeling, it's no accident. It's not magic. More often than not, it's actually rooted in math. Yeah, a mathematical principle that's hidden everywhere in nature. I'm talking about the spiral of a nautilus shell, or even the way seeds are arranged in a sunflower. And it all starts with this really simple pattern called the Fibonacci sequence. It goes like this. You start with 0 and 1, and then every number after that is just the sum of the two before it. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and on and on. This super simple sequence, well, it's the foundation for something incredibly powerful in design. And that sequence leads us right to this number, 1.618. You've probably heard of it. It's the golden ratio. Sometimes it's called phi. See, as you go further and further down that Fibonacci sequence, the ratio between the numbers gets closer and closer to this amazing proportion. And that is the secret code we're going to unlock today for our designs. Okay, but before we jump into the tools and the how-to, we got to understand why this even works. I mean, what is it about this specific ratio that our brains just seem to love so much? So the psychology here is actually pretty fascinating. There's this concept called cognitive fluency. Basically, our brains have been seeing these patterns in nature our entire lives. In flower petals, pine cones, even human faces. They're everywhere. And because they're so familiar, our brains can process them super easily. So when a design uses those same proportions, it just feels orderly, trustworthy. And this is all happening on a deep, subconscious level. And look, this isn't just some abstract feeling. It has real, practical benefits. It helps you create a super clear visual hierarchy. It gives you a natural focal point, drawing the viewer's eye exactly where you want it to go. It makes your spacing and balance just better. And ultimately, the whole thing feels organic and intentional, not artificial or random. All right, so we get the why. Now for the fun part, the how. How do we actually do this? Well, the great news is you don't have to be a math genius with a calculator. Nope, there's an entire digital toolkit out there just waiting to do all the heavy lifting for you. You can pretty much break these tools down into 3 big categories. First, you've got plugins that work right inside the design software you're probably already using. Second, there are these simple web-based calculators for when you just need a quick number. And third, for all the developers out there are code-based solutions for building out the final product. For designers, seriously, this is a total game changer. Think about it. With just one click, a plugin can slap a perfect golden spiral or a proportioned grid right onto your canvas. It's like having a visual roadmap to align all your key elements, making sure everything is in perfect harmony. And it's not just about laying out boxes either. Typography calculators are unbelievably useful. All you do is plug in your base font size and boom, it generates a whole harmonious scale for your each ones, each twos, all of your headings. This creates something called vertical rhythm, and it just makes your text so much easier and more pleasant to read. Okay, theory, check. Tools, check. Now let's put it all together. I'm going to give you a simple 5-step blueprint that you can literally use on your very next project. So the goal here is to move away from guesswork and toward intentional harmony. Instead of just picking random spacing, we're going to use rhythmic spacing based on the Fibonacci sequence. Instead of just winging it with column widths, we're using golden ratio proportions. This is a system, a framework for getting consistently better results. All right, here we go, the 5 steps. Step 1, define your canvas. Super simple, just figure out your total layout width. Step 2, calculate your columns. You take that width and use it to figure out your main content and sidebar proportions. Step 3, place your focal point. This is where you can overlay that spiral to find the perfect spot for your most important element, like a button or a key image. Step 4, set your typography. Use one of those calculators to generate your font sizes. And finally, step 5, refine your spacing. This is where you use those Fibonacci numbers, like 8, 13, 21 pixels, for all your margins and padding. See? Simple. Let's make this real with an example. Okay, let's say your canvas is 1280 pixels wide. You just divide that by the golden ratio, 1.618. That gives you your main content area, around 791 pixels. And whatever's left over, that 489 pixels, that's your sidebar. Done.
Then for your text, maybe you decide on an 18-pixel base font. A typography calculator can instantly tell you that a proportional H1 header would be, say, 76 pixels. See? The math does all the heavy lifting.
So when you pull it all together, what does this actually mean for you as a designer? Look, using a framework like this isn't about being locked in by rules. It's actually the complete opposite. It's about having a solid, proven foundation that takes care of the basics for you. And that frees you up to be more creative because you know your underlying structure is already sound. And this really gets to the heart of it. When you use these principles, you're not just arranging pixels on a screen, you're doing something bigger. You're tapping into a timeless, universal pattern. You are literally weaving a fundamental piece of the natural world right into the digital fabric. And that lets you create experiences that aren't just more beautiful, they're more human. So, this powerful, natural code, it's right there at your fingertips. The only question left is, what are you going to create with it?